Us now is Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. He serves on the House Intel and Oversight committees. Congressman, what are the outstanding issues that you would like resolved in that briefing? What are the things you feel you still don't know, the specifics of what you still don't know?
Well, I think we don't know where hundreds of kilograms of enriched uranium is. We don't know about other unaccounted for facilities that could weaponize that uranium. I think what people agree on is we cannot have Iran with a nuclear weapon. We must end the nuclear weapons program. But what appears to be outside of dispute today is that that program has not been ended, and therefore, in my humble belief, we have to go to the negotiating table and end it, because, as we saw last week, a military solution is not sufficient to end that program.
Congressman, is there a possibility that we're dealing in semantics here? I mean, the president muddied the waters by using this word obliterated, which has then been picked up by the Secretary of Defense. But it does look like the subsequent intelligence reporting, not just from the United States, but from the IAEA, from the Israelis, other international sources, does show that there was significant damage done to the Iranian nuclear capacity. So are we sort of picking at hairs a little bit at this stage? Does it look like that initial low-confidence report may have underestimated the damage that was done to the sites?
Not necessarily. I think we could have multiple things true at the same time. Certainly those facilities that are above ground were severely damaged. You might even say they might have been obliterated. However, the uranium that was stored there, hundreds of kilograms, has not been accounted for. It's 60% enriched. To get to weapons grade, it needs to be enriched to 90%, but it's still a dangerous enrichment level. And then secondly, we don't know about the underground facilities. We don't know about unreported facilities or unaccounted for facilities as well that are scattered around the country.
So, Congressman, following up on this as we await the briefing in a few hours' time, what are your concerns, not just, as we discussed earlier, that the administration might be limiting the intelligence sharing, but rather shaping the intelligence sharing, particularly pushing pressure from the White House on various agencies to, frankly, produce intel that Donald Trump would like?
That's right. I think there are two concerns there. One, not sharing information with the legislative branch. And let's just be clear why this was required in the first place. Back in the early 1970s, there were secret wars, secret assassinations, domestic surveillance that led to statutes that require the executive branch to share intelligence information with Congress in order for us to do our oversight. When we aren't able to do our oversight, bad things happen, and that's why we're concerned here. Secondly, you're absolutely right. We're very concerned that people within the intelligence community might be pressured, might be influenced unduly so, to shape intelligence reports to match whatever President Trump wants. Now, we've gone down this road before. Remember in 2003 through 2005 with regard to weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Unfortunately, at that point, the intelligence community was also pressured to deliver something consistent with what George W. Bush wanted. That led to a horrible misadventure in the Middle East, and I'm concerned that's exactly what's going to happen here again.
So, Congressman, on a related note, the other layer of transparency or oversight, if you will, of course, the job of the free press. And it was striking yesterday at the Department of Defense that Secretary Hegseth, who's already really curtailed press access throughout the Pentagon since coming to office back in earlier this year, but spent most of his time yesterday in a screed against the media's coverage of this. And he and the president have mentioned some reporters by name. What is your fear there about the intimidation and lack of access?
Again, I think that attack on Jennifer Griffin of Fox News was meant to basically be a brushback pitch. Don't scrutinize us. Don't criticize us. Don't do the things that the press is required to do in any free society to hold us in check. And so I hope that you folks continue to do the good work that you do. But I think this was intentional, again, along the lines of what they're saying with leaked information. They say that this information that came out in the DIA assessment was somehow leaked, and therefore they're not going to share information with Congress. Well, look, we have to pursue leaks, of course, but my concern here is that they're trying to suppress facts, not just suppress leaks, and that's dangerous.
Congressman, I want to stick with oversight for a second here because Robert Garcia is now the ranking member on the House Oversight Committee. And this is notable not merely because of his personal accomplishments, but because of his demographics. We're talking about a 47-year-old, the least tenured ranking member. What does this indicate to you about something larger, about what is trending and what people have been calling for in terms of turnover on the committee and in Congress?
I think he's a great choice. I think he's going to do a wonderful job as our ranking member. Look, I think at this point, given the huge challenges that we have, before our country and certainly for our party in the minority, we need to have the best people on the field. We need to have the best people in these positions of influence helping to lead the charge. And so we elected Robert through the democratic process in our caucus, and I think he's going to do a terrific job.
All right, Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. Thank you, Congressman, for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much.